The goal of everything that we do, in a sense, is that we strive to figure out ways in which people can live longer and happier lives. That's really what it's about. People may disagree about how to get there, but that's the goal. But when we find that female mortality rose in 43% of U.S. counties between 1992 and 2006, that is a profound reality that has got to be dealt with. Right here, in the nation's capital, in Washington, D.C., life expectancy varies from 77 years in the district to 84 years in Montgomery County, just a few metro stops away. 7-year difference in life expectancy.
Our witnesses have highlighted how the health of our citizens is tied to our economy. We know that income is one of the best predictors of life expectancy, as you have pointed out, but I would add to that that it is also one of the best indicators of other health problems. Asthma, diabetes, mental health disorders, the list is just starting, in which we know that income has a profound influence on the likelihood of having those problems and the severity of those problems.
We want to understand almost the physiology of what poverty is about. What does stress mean? What does it mean if you wake up in the morning, you're not quite sure if you and your kids are going to have enough food, if you don't have a job? What does it mean to you personally? And how does that result overall in shortening your lives?
We all know of your longstanding commitment to issues of income inequality, poverty, and health disparities. And too often these issues are not discussed, are kind of swept under the rug. And we know as a nation we have to do better to make sure that every American has a fair shake and a fair shot at success.
The lower people's income, the earlier they die and the sicker they live. The poor have higher rates of a long list of diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, depression, and disability, as Senator Warren mentioned. But it's not just the poor. The health of working class and middle class and even upper class Americans also rises and falls with their socioeconomic status. Lives are 7 years shorter in D.C. than in the Maryland suburbs at the end of the red line, as Senator Sanders mentioned. In New Orleans, if you can show the next map, we found that a baby born in zip code 70112 can expect to live 25 fewer years than a baby born in zip code 70124.
U.S. life expectancy has lost ground compared to other nations in the last decades, especially for women. I was a member of a National Academy of Sciences panel on longevity trends. It found that the U.S. ranked at the bottom of 21 industrialized, developed nations. These low rankings are particularly striking for the poor and for women. Of utmost concern is the widening gap in the risk of death between those at the bottom and those at the top. This gap has widened over the past 25 years.
While health care is necessary for health, it is not the only, nor even the most important factor in producing longer, healthier, and more productive lives. Health is produced by many factors, including medical care and health behaviors, but equally importantly, or more importantly, issues like income, education, the structure of our neighborhoods. As a former pediatrician, it just pains me that many children born today in poverty will have shorter and unhealthier lives determined in the next few years, by the time they get to middle school.
My name is SABRINA, and I'm from a holler in West Virginia called Twin Branch, where we had a good neighborhood and community. Twin Branch is in McDowell County. It's one of the poorest counties and one of the poorest states of the country. Because of inadequate health care, lack of transportation, and lack of resources, I was born into a family that was afflicted by domestic violence, child abuse, and mental illness. These circumstances do not cause poverty. They are caused by poverty. I could go on and on about all the young people I've seen die in West Virginia. A strong correlation between poverty and life expectancy exists. While many are born into poverty every day, poverty is not a child's fault, nor is it a family's.
Poverty is not merely a statistic, although we often treat it in abstract terms. For tens of millions of Americans, it is a persistent barrier to full participation in our society, economically, politically, and socially. Of greater significance, poverty is also a thief. It steals years of life from its victims. Americans in the top 5% of income distribution live about 9 years longer than those in the bottom 10%.
If we invest in our people, if we create a healthier, more loving society, we end up not only creating a happier society where people are going to live longer lives, but you know what? We end up saving money as well. We end up saving the taxpayers money.